Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the webinar this morning. My name is Kate Quigley, and I am the Lead Resource Specialist and Project Manager at the United Way of Connecticut's 211 service. I am very happy to be sharing some information with you this morning. And just a couple housekeeping items before we start. We have a lot of ground to cover, and I want to save time at the end in case folks have questions. So everyone who is participating this morning is muted, but at the end, when there is time for questions, we'll use the Q&A tool in the webinar software. So that is located at the top left of your screen. You can type in questions as we go, as they come into your mind, but I will tell you that I won't be able to address them until the end, but totally fine to set them up ahead of time, and then I'll read the question and answer it at the close of the presentation. So I also just wanted to thank my colleagues here at the United Way of Connecticut 211 for all their efforts in setting up this summer webinar series. So over the next few weeks into the first week of September, we're going to be offering a webinar, one webinar per week on various topics. So we have a large database of information, and we want to share that with you to help you know how to navigate our database and to find all of these really valuable resources. So I do want to let everybody know that our next webinar in the series is going to be on Tuesday, August 7th from 11 to 11:30 in the morning. It's going to be hosted by my wonderful colleague, Alana Krober, who's going to present information on connecting to substance use resources through 211. So if that is a topic that is of interest to you or that is relevant to the work you're doing, I highly recommend that you tune in. It's going to be packed with some wonderful information. All right. So I'm going to just jump right in. We're going to do a little bit of navigating our public website in a moment, but I wanted to start the webinar with some statistical information, just so that you get a sense as to what we list in terms of food resources. So today's focus will be food resources. And then how often, folks are calling us or accessing our website to locate these valuable food resources. So our Connecticut database has been evolving since 1976. So 211 in Connecticut here began as InfoLine in 1976, and we are over 40, and we've been building up these resources all this time. Currently, the database in total contains 4,000 agencies and 40,000 programs and services across the whole state of Connecticut. Of those resources, we list close to 400 food pantries and over 100 soup kitchens statewide. And I would also like to take just a quick second to thank our partners at the Connecticut Food Bank and at Food Share, because without our connections to them, what I just listed for the amount of resources we have for food pantries and soup kitchens, it wouldn't be as extensive as it is. So thank you. If any of you are tuning in this morning, thank you. We really value that partnership because the Connecticut Food Bank and Food Share contact us to let us know when new food pantries have opened or if food pantries have closed. And then we also check in with them to verify information about the food resources that we do keep in the system. So it's a wonderful connection, and I thank them very much. So back to just a little more statistical information. Last month alone, it's actually August now, sorry folks, back in June of 2018, of the top web search terms, food pantries was number 3. So people who were using our website searched food pantries over 1,000 times, 1,101 times to be exact. So it just shows you that people are looking up this information on our website. I'm going to show you more data now that relates to our call center. So as I mentioned, we've been around for a very long time. Our call specialists in the call center answer calls every day, hundreds and thousands of calls a day. what I'm showing you now on the screen is called 211 Count. So the web address to access it, and I'll show you later on how you can get there from our homepage as well, is ct.211counts.org. So what this is an online data dashboard displaying information about the total number of calls and the total number of requests that have come in through 211. And there are a lot of filtering capabilities here. I have set this search to show the last 365 days. You can also change that to just a week's time, a month's time, a custom date range. You also can put in some filters. So if you want to look at the needs that are being presented through our call center in your own community, you can filter that by any one of these options, okay? For the sake of time, I'm not going to do too much filtering because I want to show you the statistical data around food. So up here at the top, we have the total number of calls into 211 over the last 365 days, and then here, total number of requests. So basically, requests equates to referrals. So that number is always going to be higher than total calls because on any call, into 211, the individual is going to get at least one, but often more than one referral to a program, okay? So you can look at this by percent and you can look at this by count. I have already chosen the food category, which encompasses help buying food, finding places to pick up food, or to eat free or low-cost meals. And then what we do is go over here to the right. All of these requests are food related. So you'll see the numbers. And if you hover over any one of these sections, help buying food, this relates to finding financial or voucher support to buy food and includes food stamps and WIC, food pantries, places where people go to pick up food to prepare elsewhere, including baby food, soup kitchens, places to go for on-site meals at free or reduced price, feeding children. This encompasses the free or low-cost food and milk for children both during after school or in the summer. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Home delivered meals, free meals delivered to homes of folks who cannot prepare or get to places serving the meals. And then holiday meals. This is obviously seasonal, but we do list Thanksgiving, Christmas meals during the holiday times, which are a very important resource for a lot of folks. So you'll see the counts here. And then also just drawing your attention to the unmet needs. What that means is when someone calls into us, if our staff in 211 cannot honor the request, meaning there's not a program that's available in the person's community, or the client has exhausted all resources, or they're not eligible for resources, or often they don't have transportation to get to the resource, or there's a waiting list at the agency. There's a lot of different reasons why a particular need might go unmet. We capture those as well so that we can identify gaps in services. So you can see the percentages of these resources where there was a little bit of gap in service for any one of the reasons that I just mentioned. And so we like to capture those as well. Just before I close out the 211 counts, I just want to let you know that this has more information at the bottom. We have a lot of ways that you can look at this information, which is really, really interesting. So the map over here is overlaid with census data. And then there are various charts that you can access just to see the requests from last year and the prior year. There's also the opportunity to build reports. So if you really were interested in this and wanted a detailed report or just a brief report, you can look at that and export those to a PDF and take them on the road with you, or just save them for future reference. Okay, so that again was ct.211counts.org, and that is just a quick snapshot of some of our food data. So I'm going to go to our homepage here, and my hope is that many of you are familiar already with our website, but if you're not, the web address is www.211ct.org, and I invite you to visit our website often to look up resources. I'm going to show you some new tools that hopefully will make that a lot easier for you. If you're working as a care coordinator or a case manager or a social worker, really anyone in any capacity that's helping someone, you can use what's called the My 211 account feature, which will allow you to build some customized lists for clients and save them and share them. So we're going to get into that in just a second. First off, I'm going to show you one of our categories here. So there's a few different ways to search our database. I will show you all of them. The first one I want to start with are our categories down here. So there's various options for categories. I'm going to start with food. And you'll see there's a few links here that point directly into our database. Now these are most of the food terms that we would use for programs and services, but not every single one. Most of them are here. There may be a few more that I'll show you momentarily. But if you were to click any one of these links, it's going to bring you into the database and show you the list of options. As we mentioned, there's emergency food, there's meals, and then we also have suggested reading. And suggested reading, these lead to our e-library papers. So these were resources put together by our information services team a while ago as a tool for our call center to use as a reference point. But let's say you're new to the field and you need to help people understand and then potentially apply for the food stamp program. And you need to learn a little bit more about it. You could use this fact sheet to help you understand what the program is. We try to be very clear and concise in these papers and explain what the eligibility is, any timely information. We link to the appropriate places, including DSS, which is the agency where one would have to apply for this program. What documents are needed. If you're working with someone, you know that right up front. You got to walk them through the steps, let them know what they need. And we update these papers at least one time per year, if not more. And then we always generally close with a link back into our database. Okay, so just know that these are available for your use anytime you need them. Back to the category here, I do want to bring your attention to the Summer Meals Program, which is sponsored by End Hunger Connecticut. We have a quick link right here that gets us into their database. So during the summer months, they offer this program for children ages 0 to 18, and it is free meals for the summertime. They often have multiple meals a day at various sites in the community. Most of the sites are open, which means you can go to any one. So if you lived in Windsor, but you wanted to go to one of the sites in Hartford, totally fine. Some of the sites are closed, so just keep aware of that. But their website is recently revised so that the search is a little bit easier. You would just put in your location, and then you can filter by whether you just want to look up the snack programs, the breakfast programs, lunch, evening snack, or supper programs. And then it's going to populate the list for you as to what options are available based on your location, tell you the dates and the times and where the location is. This is an amazing program, and I would encourage you to share this information with anyone that might be needing it, because there are families that rely upon some of the free school lunch and school breakfast programs while the children are enrolled in school. But often what happens is once the school year is out, if the family is struggling financially, they may need another option for food for the children. And this is an amazing program that provides, again, free food to children ages 0 to 18. They will serve individuals with a disability up to age 21 as well. And so that's available right here off of this quick link, and you can then get their website and bookmark it if you're looking up that information for people. I'm going to go back to our homepage, and I'm going to show you a second way to search our website here. Unsure of what you're looking for? Let us help. So today we're focusing on food. I'm going to drop this list down, and you're going to see all of these statements that are based upon need. And these are really the top requests that come in through 211, and this is how people really present themselves to us when they call. I need health insurance. I need counseling. I need help preparing my taxes. So in this instance, we're going to choose the I need food option, and then you click continue. It's going to ask for your location. So where do you need the help in? I'm going to search Middletown and then click continue. So what happens here? We have I need food serving Middletown. Behind the scenes, this list is populated with all the resource service terms, or our taxonomy terms, that would serve this particular need. So this is a blended list. This isn't just food pantries or just home delivered meals. This is a blended list, and it really, using this option, kind of takes the guesswork out of things. So if someone just knows they need food and they search it, they're going to get some options for food. They don't need to know, the details of how we categorize the information. They can just use this more simplified option. So we have 23 resources that come up. And as we scroll down, we're going to see, again, a blended list. So this is the Amazing Grace Food Pantry, Salvation Army's Food Pantry. Ryan White has a congregate meal program. Here's the Soup Kitchen at St. Vincent's, another food pantry. And here's the congregate meal program at the City of Middletown. So I won't go through the full scope of the list, but just to give you the sense that this is a blended list. We also can filter this list. So Show Advanced Filters right here allows you to change this up a little bit to make it a more manageable list. I'm going to choose Tuesday. So what this means is services that are open on a Tuesday, and click Filter. So we started at 23, and that's going to drop us down just a little bit to 19. And let's say you're working with someone and you want to know a little bit more about the Salvation Army's food pantry program. You're going to click More Details. Scroll back down just a little bit. You're going to see when they're open, eligibility information, how does someone apply. So new clients must fill out an application, which is available on Wednesdays from 10 to 1. And further details down here where the site is at 515 Main Street, Middletown, and so on. So let's say you've heard, even if it's a rumor, that these hours have changed. We want you to let us know that. We are constantly getting information both from our website and from our callers about resources in the community. We need to know that to keep this database as up to date as possible, and we welcome that feedback anytime. So how to do that? Update this listing. We're going to click it right here. It's going to be a pre-filled form. Just tell us who you are, give us your email and your phone number if we have to follow up, and then hit submit. Now, if you don't work for the Salvation Army, that's okay. We're still going to call the Salvation Army and find out if this rumor is true or not, so that we can make the change if the change is necessary in the listing. Okay? Back to results here. Remember I mentioned the My211 account, so we're going to show you that right now. So I have already logged into the My211 account, and towards the end I'll show you how to sign up for that. But I've logged into my account, which is a free account, and I want to start to build a list of these options for someone who lives in Middletown and needs food resources. So I'm going to click Add to List. I'm going to create a new list, Food in Middletown, and click Create. And it tells me that it's added this one resource to that particular list. So I'm going to click Add to List again. I'm going to find my list now, and generally when you add one, it falls to the bottom, Food in Middletown, and Add to a List. We're going to go find that St. Vincent Soup Kitchen again, Add to List. This resource again is open on a Tuesday, so you might want to put that in your title of your list, if that makes more sense. And then let's say this individual is over the age of 60 or an adult with a disability. They would also qualify for the congregate meal program. So we're going to add that to the list as well. All right, so Food in Middletown. We've got a nice manageable list here. Now we're going to go up to the top to My211 account, and we're going to go to Resource Lists. Takes just a quick second to load. They're filtered by the date it was created. So we just did this one. So this one's at top. We're going to open up the list, and we're going to see these 4 resources that we just put in there. Okay? Then we're going to print or share this list. That's the option, right to the right of the title of the list. So I'm going to click that. What you can do now, if you're working with a client and they, need to hold on to this information. You can certainly print it because we know people sometimes like paper, but if they have an email address and a phone, you could send it by email or you can send it by text. You can add comments. You can send replies to you through this software. And so it's a really easy way to, again, create this plan for your client who needs food, to access food on a Tuesday, to make sure that they hold on to those resources. And the bigger benefit that I think, and this is why I love this tool so much, is that the link that you're sending them stays live, right? So what does that mean? It means that if I go back to my office after we're done this morning and Salvation Army tells me they have to close the food pantry temporarily for some reason, right? Just an example. I take that off the list. It also comes off of your list. So if things are removed from the database, they also come off of your list. So you're still getting the most current information. So you can keep, doing more searches and building up more lists for added information. But when things are taken out, that's reflected in the list, which is a great thing. All right. So I am actually going to just put up a quick slide here for all of you. And I just wanted you to see that this is really the scope of a lot of the terms that we would use that relate to the need of food. So WIC, Summer Food Service Programs, which we discussed, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is for older adults in the community, home delivered meals, congregate meals, nutrition sites. We just looked at one of those at the City Senior Center for Middletown. Soup kitchens, food pantries. Nutrition education is also a term that can be researched if you're working with folks who need some more assistance with how to stay healthy and help with sort of preparing food, cooking and purchasing food and things like that. And then the farmers markets, which of course is very timely for us right now. So just remember that these are really some of the go-to terms, which again, most of them are located in that category search that I showed you initially, but I just wanted you to take a quick look at that. I'm going to go back into the home page here and just let you know that this particular area, this free text box, you can start to type in, let's say, the word meals, and you're going to get a few of the options. So congregate meals, home delivered meals, Christmas meals, Thanksgiving meals. If we typed in the word food, we get a very long list here that includes other things. So baby food, food vouchers, food cooperatives, food complaints, food stamps, pet food. Yes, we have a few resources for pet food. So just know, again, we have 40,000 programs in the database. Take your time, plug in the terms that you think that you need, but just know there's a few options to get into the system. And then ultimately, if you have any questions, we're always available. You can reach out to me directly. I will send out a follow-up email to those of you that have participated today with the slide that I showed and my contact information. So if you need further assistance, we are happy to help you with that. All right, so we have about 7 minutes left. I'm just going to show 2 more things and then I'm going to pause for questions. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom of our homepage and show you our navigator. So this is an online benefit screener that was built here in-house at 211, and it deems eligibility for all of these programs, some of which relate to food. So for the example of food stamps and WIC, those are both included on this list. Someone just has to walk through the basic screening. They don't need to give a birthday, a social security number, just household demographic and income information. When they submit the survey here, it will tell them which of these programs they might qualify for. So you remember we looked at the food stamps e-library paper up front. If it tells me that I'm eligible for food stamps and I go, well, that's great, but I'm not 100% sure what that means, if you click more for information, you're going to get this paper that we looked at already, okay, which points to the links to the resources and walks somebody through this process of obtaining this particular service, okay. In some cases, not every single one, but in the food stamp example, we also point to the application, which is just taking the guesswork out of things for for people. All right? So the last thing I want to show you is our professionals page. So at the top navigation bar of our website, you can always hit professionals. And I wanted to show you how to add a new food pantry or a new soup kitchen, okay? So we have some basic intake forms on this page for people that want to add their information into our database. And because we get so many requests for food pantries and soup kitchens, we created a unique intake form just for that. So by clicking this link right here, you're going to get an intake form that asks all the questions that we really need to gather to make the record look like the one we looked at earlier. So eligibility, location, service description. That's going to allow us to get all the details we need, and then we'll reach back out to you and we'll say that the food pantry has been added. And that's the process that we would take for that. And then lastly, I just wanted to bring your attention back to where we started 211 counts. And so that's right here on our professionals page under special projects, 211 counts. It's going to get you right here. And if you're someone that really is interested in the data or you want to look at your community needs, come here, take a look. It doesn't just include food. It includes all of these categories on the left. Okay? So I am going to take a pause and I'm going to check the Q&A section and the chat section just to see if anybody's posed a question. If they have, I will read the question and then answer it. So if you all can just give me one quick second. Okay, so I'm going to start here with one question from Lisa. Thanks, Lisa. So Lisa's wondering how often we update the information on 211. So for example, if there's a food pantry that might run out of funds by the end of the year, then the pantry's closed. Is that up to the organization to call and update if a site is closed due to funding? That's a great question. We update the database formally at least one time per year. So every agency gets a formal update one time per year. However, we are constantly updating this database based on inquiries from people using our website and callers that are reporting things through our call center, and then those are reported to us in the information services department. So we're constantly updating, but I would definitely say to your question, we would empower all agencies to call and update with us, especially if programs are closing due to funding or other reasons, because we don't want to be providing referrals to services that are no longer available. So it's really just a courtesy more to the folks that are calling us so that we can keep this very current. So if you know you're listed on 211, definitely call us and let us know that something has closed down for whatever reason. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Lisa. I'm going to just check and see if anybody else has other questions, and it looks like there are no more. So my name again is Kate Quigley. I'm sorry I forgot my slide for my contact info, so I'm going to give everybody my email address if you want to just jot it down. I'll type it right here into the chat. So if you need anything, further training on the website, further questions about any resources or food resources, I would please welcome you to reach out to me. We really do enjoy providing the demonstrations of our website because we want to arm people with the information that we have in there so that we can serve as many people as possible. So on that note, it looks like there's one more question coming through. If you update a listing, will my list also update automatically? That's a wonderful question. Thank you, Virginia. Yes. So those lists are linked to the live resources, as I said. So if something changes and you have that resource in your list, yes, those changes will be reflected. That's a great question. So the answer is yes. All right, I'll keep the line open for one more moment in case anybody has a burning question that they want to ask. And if questions come up later, please just send me an email, but I'll send everybody a follow-up email. And I really appreciate you participating this morning. It was great to see so many people on the webinar. All right, it looks like there's no more questions. Thank you everybody so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.